Hi friends, I hope you all are doing well, staying inspired, creating lots of music. I know I have, and in this video I've got a bit of a sad lo-fi track that I've created recently that I would love to share with you, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you're able to take a thing or two away from my creation process. I'm going to play a preview of the song, and while I do that, I'm actually going to go and give my dog a walk, so I'll be right back. Alright, so let's break this track down. Let's start with the piano, the backbone of this song, and if you want to create a sad song, you need a sad chord progression, so this is what I came up with. That same piano progression loops throughout the entire song. The only other piano part I add comes in at the break, and it's this high noodling. I don't really give much meaning to any note, and I send it through some reverb, and it just creates a great atmosphere. I actually used the delay and reverb from the Corey Wong amplifier, which is a guitar sim, but I used it on the piano just because it sounds so dang good. The ambience in this song is really simple. I just have some vinyl effects looping throughout the track, and I added a bit of some waves over in the break just to add another texture, and I also added those waves in the end as well. For the drums, I wanted something simple so it wouldn't take away from any of the melodic elements, but I also wanted something driving to give that listener the classic head nod as they listen to the track, and this is what I came up with. I stacked this snare sound with this snare sound to create this snare sound.
Amazing!
I've got a nice punchy kick with the Bob module from the 6060 added on it to add some more low end. Here's what the kick sounds like originally, and here's what it sounds like processed.
Oh, I like that.
I threw in a simple little shaker loop, sounds like this. And here's what my hat sounds like. As you can see, I've got two different velocities. I'm hitting the downbeats harder, and the upbeats, I'm rolling back the velocity so that it hits a bit softer. Here's my processing for the hat. First, I'm running into this EQ, just cutting out a bit of the highs. Then I'm running into some distortion, and then it's running into this Logic Stock tremolo, which is essentially acting as an auto pan plugin. I used just a couple transitions in this track, but I think the few go a long way. Here's the first cymbal transition. Here's what it sounds like soloed. I use the same transition a bit later in the track to bring in a little one measure dropout. I wanted something a little bit more epic sounding to bring in the first beat drop, so I grabbed this breathy swell. I believe this is from one of Mondaloop's packs, and this is what it sounds like. I believe I added a bit more reverb to it to make the transition a bit smoother. Another transition I made in this track was just with pure white noise. I grabbed this from a free Cymatic sample pack, and as you see, there's no processing going on. I just took the gain down a bit, and white noise makes for some amazing transitions. Sometimes I like to filter a bit of the highs out, but for this track, I just left it as is, and I thought it sounded pretty good. And I used that same white noise transition to bring us to the end of the track. Nothing too special going on with the bass, it just follows the root of the chord progression. But I did choose key bass because I wanted a big, beefy, driving bass, and key bass is the perfect bass sound for that. But if you're curious, this is what the bass part sounds like. Now on to my favorite part of creating any song, the guitars. The song begins with this very ambient guitar pad that sounds like this. As you may hear, I'm just softly plucking two notes on my guitar and adding a bunch of interesting sounding reverb to it. This is what the guitar sounds like without any processing.
Truly remarkable.
The cool reverb effect is really all coming from the Valhalla Supermassive plugin, and you can check out my settings here. The next guitar part I have is this finger picking part where I'm essentially just plucking the first, fifth, and the third of each chord. It sounds like this. To get this guitar tone, I'm using the Corey Wong amp with the delay and reverb, adding some Logic stock compression, and then EQing some of the lows and some weird low mid frequencies out of there. The next thing to come in is the guitar slides, and this is our first melody of this song, and they sound like this. I wanted to use guitar slides for this song because guitar slides always sound a bit sad and eerie, which makes a great fit for this song. And if you're curious, I'm getting this guitar sound with the Corey Wong amp, the delay and reverb, some stock Logic compression, and some filtering. The next melody to come in is the guitar solo. As you can hear there, it's very bright, plucky, and spacious, which is exactly what I was going for. So here's some of the processing I did to achieve that. I'm actually using Guitar Rig 5. I just got Guitar Rig 6, so I didn't have it when I created this, but I used the Coolplex amp. Sounds so good. This amp is so clean, so bright. And I added the EC300 for some quarter note delay. Then I ran it through ROM Reverb, a very, very crisp sounding reverb. Then I do some parallel compression. And the last thing I do is filter some frequencies out of it. The last guitar part is this guitar shimmer swells track that sounds like this. To get this sound, I use the Corey Wong amp again with the dry, wet, and decay knobs maxed out and the shimmer button pressed. Then I run it into some warm plate reverb to smooth out the shimmer effect, and finally EQ out some of the highs and lows. The last part to discuss in this song are these vocal chops of me singing. They don't sound too great unprocessed. But once you drown that in delay, reverb, and distortion, you get this great ear candy effect. To process these vocals, I'm using the tape echo effect in Guitar Rig 5, Waves 1 knob reverb maxed out, some saturation and compression from the 6060, and some filtering from EQ.
And that's the end.
I hope you are able to take something away from that, or at least get some inspiration to start creating your own track. And if you have any suggestions or questions or things you'd like to see on this channel, definitely let me know. I'd like to shout out my Discord server. We're all hanging out there having a good time. I'd love to see you in there, and I hope y'all have a great one. Peace.